Yeah, hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever part of the world you people are from. A very warm welcome to you all to our very exciting program on how to learn 15 programming languages in 15 hours using our machine learning and artificial intelligence based approach. It's quite an interesting approach what we have adapted here. This approach doesn't need any background from your side to understand this approach and technology. You'll be quite amazed to know how easy it is to learn this course. Yeah, and how easy could programming be for you? Because we have seen so far people being scary of coding. They don't know how to switch from one language to another language. They have a lot of challenges in that. All these will be addressed in our program, and this webinar is just an introduction to what kind of approach we would be using, what is our approach. It just gives you a very holistic view of it. Yeah, and if you undergo the entire program, you would definitely get to know what exactly it is and how it's going to help you. Let's proceed further. Thanks everyone for connecting and sparing your time to listen to our inputs on this very program. Yeah. Is it really possible to learn 15 programming languages in 15 hours? Yep. How many had a doubt like, what are these people going to teach? Which language are they actually going to teach? Is it one language or two languages? Yeah, or each language would take 15 hours. What is it like? Yes. So, believe it or not, it's not only possible, but it's achievable. Each of you by the end of 15 hours definitely would be able to write a good volume of code across all the 15 languages. It's not one or two across all 15 languages, or you can even increase the count. You can apply this approach to any other language which you would like to learn in future. So it's very much possible. Fine. This learning opportunity is open to all with no prerequisites required. Throughout these 15 hours, you will follow our guidelines and thought process. And by the end, you will have acquired a remarkable skill that will set you apart. It's an extraordinary opportunity to supercharge your coding process. And anyone with any knowledge is very much welcome to this program. We have taught this to students from 8th standard to people up to 50, 55 years of age. It was equally easy for everyone to learn and master this approach. And by the end of this 15-hour of intensive journey, you will be confidently reading, writing, comprehending code, not just in one language, but multiple languages of your choice. 15 is just the minimum count where we have restricted. Beyond that, it's up to you how many languages you would like to go with. Fine. So let's break down. Let's look into it. What exactly is our approach? What's the essence of our approach? Let's put it this way. Why do you feel like coding was tough for you? Yeah, some people are really scared about coding. Most of them, they don't choose programming career. They know it's a highly paid job, but they don't choose it because they are scared of coding. And some people during their academics or post academics or during their professional life, they've also felt it this way. I know one language. Now, how do I switch over to another language? Because that language is paid more. We have a better recognition, much more opportunities in that specific language. But how do I actually switch over? It's really challenging for them. Yeah. The answer lies is in the lack of awareness about effective learning strategies and seamless language switching. The way we learn a programming language, that approach itself, is not that apt. That doesn't, it's not the way how you actually learn coding. And the most pitiable part of it is most of the technical education has programming language as part of their curriculum, but none of the universities have designed an approach to teach it properly to the students and give them a cutting edge for their career. So we will be focusing on that now. And how do you code? You can relate it to your everyday experience. It's not something, uh, rocket science or something which is out of the world. where you'll have to think differently, nothing as such. It's quite easy. How many of y'all can actually ride a bike? How many of y'all can drive a car? Most of y'all, I believe, can ride a bike, can ride a car. Now, when I say which bike can you ride, the bike, is it only specific to a model or a company, or can you ride a bike of any company, any model? Isn't it? Similarly, when you drive a car, is it with any car you can drive, or is it a specific model of a specific company that you can do? Yeah, you can ride any bike, you can drive any car, isn't it? Same happens with coding. The way you learn coding is similar to the way how you learn how to ride a bike or how do you drive a car. It's absolutely the same. The principles are same, because when you learn a bike, how to ride it, will you be remembering route from one place to another place, or do you actually understand the principles of how do you balance your vehicle, how do you put your vehicle in motion, how do you switch gears, how do you navigate in the traffic? These are the things which you learn, isn't it? And that's immaterial of which bike it is. Once you're comfortable with one bike, you can move on with any bike. Even any new bike model comes in the market, first time you ask that executive, like, what's the specialty of this? Yeah, how the gears are organized, and that's it. In a minute or two, you're set to go, you're set to ride it. Same thing, same applies for coding. Yeah, coding also can be learned in the same way. How do you keep your vehicle in motion? How do you balance it? How do you apply the gears, navigate in the traffic? Same mindset can be applied for programming. If you grasp the fundamental principles of programming language, it's like learning how to keep your coding vehicle in motion. It's quite simple thing. And once you have got the foundation, that's understanding how programming languages work, which is very, very important, because most of us, we say that we know programming, but the thing is, we don't know how exactly that programming language is working, fine, and how to manipulate data, how the control flows. You will be amazed at how easy you write programs, and even more easy to switch from one language to another language, just like how you learn to ride a bike. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So let's discover the hidden truth and reveal the dark side of coding. What actually happens? Have you seen any of your friends, yeah, who are good at coding, who really do coding very fast, who understand, and whenever you get a problem, you're stuck during your coding, your programming, they help you out very easily. They say, fine, this is how you switch from these errors, how do you come out of them, or how to write. They just explain it very fluently, very easily. It looks as if these people have some superpower, right? And you might have also seen some of your friends who are good at mathematics, some are good at painting, some are good at com skills, some are good at sports. Then we address them stating that it's their IQ. Some are good at communication IQ, some are good sports IQ, some are good, math IQ, logical IQ, some are good at relationships IQ, creative IQs. Each one has a different type of IQ, and most of them also associate coding with that IQ. But believe us, coding has got nothing to do with your IQ. It's very simple, like how you learn to ride a bike, how to drive a car. What IQ is needed for you to do that, isn't it? Just get on with it, understand the principles, and keep doing it. That's all. So it's the same. Coding has got nothing to do with your IQ. It has got nothing to do with your intellect. If you understand the principles, it becomes very easy to work with it. Fine. So, are you looking to become a successful programmer? Yeah. Then here is the super opportunity for you to master the essentials of 15 programming languages in 15 hours. So, our course teaches you the principles behind coding. You won't find them in any books anywhere else on the internet. This is a very unique program, and we have been recognized by the All Indian Council of Technical Education, NEET 3.0. which is a division which gives opportunity for creative education, better education for students to uplift their skills. So we have been recognized by them, and through them, fine, we have brought this into the market and making it available for the students. And with our specialized curriculum, learning all these programming languages is easy. You will be up to speed in no time. 15 hours is not to just give you an introduction. You will be writing meaningful programs, even up to hundreds of lines of code. And you will also get an idea how to build projects in any language. The skeleton system, which we will show you across, multiple real-time applications, which are there in your mobile phone, which you see in the outside world, what people are using, you will be able to correlate them, how they have been built, how they have been working. This is how it works. Fine. So now, what does it take to learn coding or any programming language? So let's start with the word language. What exactly is language? It's a way for people to communicate and share information, a means of communication, a mode of communication. How do we express ourselves? So that's a language. And any language like what we have, yeah, we can classify them into two types. One is natural language and other is formal language. What is this natural language? What we human beings generally use to express, and it can be used to express anything and everything. In such languages, we consider them as natural language. Whatever is there in the past, whatever would come in the future, everything we would be able to express it. For example, 30 years back, 50 years back, did we have any word called laptop? No, isn't it? Did we have anything called mobile phone? No, not at all. But as and how these things come, the words also are created. So whatever is there, we will be able to express them. Whatever comes up in future, we will be also able to express them. That is the potential of natural languages. And what we human beings speak, everything comes under the sphere of natural languages, like English, Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Gujarati, Marathi, French, Spanish, Korean, Russian, any of our Indian and foreign languages, they all come under the sphere of natural languages. Then we have the second category, that's formal languages. What are these formal languages? Unlike natural, they don't express everything and anything. Yeah, they are very specific in nature. They are meant for only specific purpose. What exactly is the specific purpose? Like example, if you take accounts, accounts comes under formal languages. Why? Because through accounts, I can express only financial information. What is the cash inflow? What is the cash outflow? What is my savings? What are my expenses? I can represent, I can convey, I can communicate only financial information. Similarly, statistics. This is also used to perform, his analysis of historical data. What was the population of the world in 1600, 1700, 1800, 1900, 2000? Pre-COVID, what is it? Post-COVID, what is it? So the impact of COVID. So this way, it gives us data and we can analyze the historical data. But if someone says, I am feeling hungry, how do I express it in accounts, or how do I express that through statistics? Ruled out question, isn't it? So everything can't be done through them. But yes, something in specific definitely can be done. And that's formal language. Of course, our interest is not in this accounts or statistics, but another instance of the formal language, that which is programming languages. Programming languages have a specific purpose, and that is to make machines to work. That's the main purpose of that. The programming languages will make machines to work. So now we will take forward our discussion with programming languages. So how many types of programming languages do we have? We have two types. One is low level and the other is high level. Low level language, we have binary language and we have assembly language. Binary language is the native language which is understood by machines. Assembly language can't be directly understood by the machine, but we use a translator to convert that into machine language. Yeah. And then high level languages, which are more English like sentences. And when we discuss a bit more about the low level languages and especially binary languages, it just consists of zeros and ones. Whatever we need to express, it comes in terms of zeros and ones. Yep. So you can just see an instance of a content in binary language 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. So this is how binary languages work. Now, how do I remember this? How do I work with this? Really difficult, isn't it? Understanding for human beings is definitely difficult. Yeah, A, B, C. Now you can see the way they are represented. How difficult it's difficult to remember A to Z. It's quite tough. And if someone writes anything in binary language and they'll ask us to read it or rectify it, that's even more than a ruled out question. So for humans, it's never easy to deal with binary language. But the only thing is, all machines understand only this language. This is the only language understood by machines. Let's keep this in mind and then move ahead with the second category of low-level languages, which happens to be the assembly language, which are English-like words. Yes, easy for us to read, write, remember, like you see, begin, pause, move, add. Quite easy for us to remember, read, write, rectify. But the issue is, they are more machine and processor dependent. If my processor changes, then I'll not be able to use the same instruction set which I was communicating. I need to change my instructions according to the processor which is being used. So practically not a recommended approach. Then, though it was easy for human beings, but compatibility with machines was a bit tough. Then we entered into the next phase of programming language. That's the high level language, which most of you all have heard, have been hearing about. And most of the programming languages, what you see today in your academics and outside professional world, they all come in this high level language like C Sharp, C++, R, Python, Ruby, Golang, Swift, PHP, Camel, Apex, JavaScript, all these languages. Yeah, they're part and parcel of the high level programming languages. Very easy for human beings to understand them and work with. But the most important thing is machines or your computers do not understand these languages. Then why are we learning them? Certainly, machines don't understand. Machines understand only binary language. Hence, the other name given for binary language is machine language. Then why are we learning them? The only reason why we learn them is these languages have a translator. My natural languages do not have a translator which can convert them into machine language or binary language. Whereas these high-level languages are equipped with a translator. The translator converts these instructions from high-level language to the binary or machine language. That's the reason why, we are learning all these high-level languages. Yep. So whether you have a high-level language or assembly language using a translator, they will be converted into binary language. So more or less what you see on your screen is an example of them. And then your processor takes up these binary instructions and it processes them to give the end result, what we see on our screens. Yeah. Now, how do we learn natural languages and programming languages? Very simple. Natural language. How do you learn them? Any natural language. Yeah. You need to write a story or an article. Let's say English. Fine. Definitely you can, a page or two, definitely you can write. So what does that story or article consist of? Paragraphs. Yeah. What is this paragraph made out of? Sentences. What are the sentences made out of? Words. Fine. So this is the structure in which it's built. Same way, when it comes to programming language, we have such structure. Programming language, I can build applications or called as projects. Each application will have some programs in them. These programs consist of statements. They are like equivalent to your story, project, paragraphs, programs, sentences, statements, and statements of any high-level programming language is made out of tokens. This is what we have. This is the structure using which you can understand, master any programming language. Like how you have parts of speech, nouns, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, verbs, prepositions, conjunctions, interjections. Your words are made out of these, isn't it? Your word could be a noun, a pronoun, an adjective. And this is how you start building your vocabulary of any language. Similarly, when we go for programming language, we have understood token is the smallest unit. Yeah, a token is the smallest unit in any programming language. And there are 5 types of tokens, which are these: keywords, identifiers, operators, strings, and literals. These are the 5 types of tokens, and a token by itself is the smallest unit of a program that has a well-defined meaning or purpose. Yeah, and in any programming language, we have tokens which can be classified into 5 types. These are the 5 types of tokens. Fine. So what's a keyword? Words that are which have well-defined meaning in the language, and we cannot change that meaning. We call them as keywords. Then we have identifiers. These are words created by programmer. Their meaning can be changed from time to time. We have operators, which are symbols, strings, which are group of characters, and literals implies this constant values like 3.14, 9.8, 1.4, minus 2.5, whatever, any values, what you take, these constant values, they come under literals. Fine. So when you consider various programming languages, yeah, these tokens can be shared between them. The tokens more or less resemble across various programming languages. Yeah, you can find a lot of similarity between them. Post that, if you have words in natural language, how do you build sentences there? By understanding grammar of that language, isn't it? I drive a car, I'm going to office. These are some examples of it. I live in Mumbai. Yeah, I'm drinking water. So these are some examples of sentences which you've built in your natural language. For instance, in English. Similarly, if I translate the same thing into any other natural language like Hindi, Telugu, Marathi, Tamil, Gujarati, yeah, you can see they don't make sense. I'm translating them word to word. I am drinking water. मैं पानी, or if you take it in the correct, मैं पानी पी रहा हूं. But if you translate it in the way as they are, मैं पी रहा हूं पानी. So it doesn't match with the correct sentence, isn't it? It's completely a mismatch. But when you have to rewrite it in the proper way, then you're putting water first, and then what are you doing with that water? That's in your Indian languages. Whereas English, you're putting drinking first and then water. So that's the syntax. That is something called grammar. If I convert word to word as it is across different programming languages, it's completely wrong. It doesn't work. But previous, when we wrote the current sentences, it was completely different. Why is it so? Yeah, why is that so? That's the understanding of grammar. If you take these and convert it into English, then again it's wrong. I water I'm drinking. So if I take Indian languages and translate it as it is into English, or take English and convert it as it is into Indian languages, it doesn't work. Why? Why? The reason is, in English, subject comes first, then the object, whereas in Indian languages, first comes object, then comes subject. मैं पानी पी रहा हूं. So water is your object. पी रहा हूं, फेंक रहा हूं, धो रहा हूं. It will come second. That's the subject. Whereas when you go to English, subject comes first, then comes the object. So it's different in Indian languages and English. That is why people, when they try to convert their native language grammar into English, they actually fail because it doesn't help. It doesn't serve the purpose. Yeah. Same way, when it comes to creating statements in programming language, we have something called syntax. Syntax is the rules to arrange tokens in order to generate statements. The way we had grammar in our natural languages, in programming languages, we have something called syntax. More or less, all programming languages, if I have to build the statement, we need to learn syntax. This is where, the regular training of any other programming language fails. There, you're not taught tokens and syntax to build statements. Directly, you start writing programs and try to understand statements. What is it doing? So that won't help in the long run, because you will be able to understand the program which is explained to you, but you'll not be able to write a code by yourself. That's the key difference. That's the distinction. In our approach, you will not only be able to read code in any programming language, you will also be able to build code in any programming language, because you are using the native structure through which the language itself is built. So that actually helps you. Fine. Then how many types of statements do we have in programming languages? Programming languages, they have 5 statements. Irrespective which language you're learning, we have these 5 statements: memory statements, arithmetic and logical statements, input statements, output statements, and control statements. These are the 5 statements across any programming language you take. And why just 5? Because that's from the core architecture of computer. When you take the block diagram of computer, this is what you have. The CPU, which comprises of control unit, arithmetic logic unit, and control unit. The input unit and the output unit. This is the core hardware. Whatever programs we write, the statements in those programs will fit into these components and they get executed. And now there is no 6th component in your computer. So where will the 6th statement go and sit? So it's not possible. Your lines of code and statements are completely different. Your program could be 10,000 lines of code, but these 10,000 lines of code will have only 5 categories of statements. This is the key thing to understand. In your academics or your regular training, you have been explained about lines of code, but not statements. Lines of code is definitely important, but that is when you write those lines by yourself. When you're using someone else's written code and don't understand it and try to remember, then what's the point with those lines of code? Fine. So let's understand these statements. If you understand the statements, definitely you will be able to build as many as lines of code possible. Fine. Then what exactly does our approach focus on? Understand, internally in the system, the high-level language statements, what we are writing, will be converted into binary language. That's the machine language. Through what? Through a translator. And translator is a software which is built. All programming languages are converted this way. And our thing focuses on this now. Take the tokens, learn the syntax, build the statements. These statements get converted into binary language or machine language using the translator. Yeah. So what we are going to focus is high level language getting converted into machine language through translator. Let's understand how this translator is designed. If you know how this translator is built, then you will be able to learn any programming language in the translator approach. So we will be learning the mechanism of how the translator works. If you know how the translator works, then you can understand any high level language, and the subsequent part of writing the programs is as simple as that. It's like the same way how you ride a bike or drive a car. It becomes so simple for you. Each programming language is equipped with its own translator. Now, if you're saying 15 languages, should we learn 15 translators? No, not at all. We have developed a method for extracting a common principle from various translators. All these translators, take 15 or 20, no matter which programming language comes in the future, they are built on some specific principles. And we have extracted those principles, and we will be practicing, learning, and mastering languages according to these principles, and a job becomes very easy. By mastering this approach, you will gain the ability to code in any programming language, regardless of its historical or contemporary nature. Fine. So that's the beauty of our approach. Using this, you learn the essentials of programming languages in the same way how you learn a bike or a car. Fine. It's something similar to that. Fine. So this is what our approach is all about. And how confident are we about our approach? Will it really help? Coming to my background, over the past 25 years, I've been into IT training, trained lakhs of students across the globe. Fine. And I've trained students from schools with this approach, 8th standard, 9th standard students. I've trained engineers, thousands of engineers, and even people who come from commerce background, physiotherapy background. Everyone was equally capable of coding towards the end. So that's our approach. And I can give you an outright challenge on this. Fine. A 200% money back guarantee. Yeah, I am very much confident, and I know how powerful is my approach. If by any chance my approach doesn't meet your expectation, then we have got you covered. We are not just refunding your fees, we will be giving back 200% of what you have paid. That's how confident we are with respect to our methods and how we have designed success for several students. Fine. And other way around, it goes this way. See, if our approach fails, I'll pay you back 25,000. If you're not capable of coding at the end of 15 hours, provided you work the way I ask you to work. I'm not going to ask you to work for 8 hours a day. Fine. As and how you're listening to this session, you practice what I ask you to practice. That's all. In spite of that, after 15 hours, you fail to code, then I pay you back 25,000. And if my approach works, there's a bright IT career for you. And I very strongly believe any fresher is not paid less than 25,000. In that way, also, again, you're winning. So by enrolling to this program, either ways, you're in a win-win situation. There's no way you're going to lose it. So are you up for the challenge? Along with this, suppose the challenge, like this is what would be the resources you would be getting during the training. What are these resources? As I said, we will be giving you an IDE, an integrated development environment, in which you can practice all these 15 programming languages, or even more languages actually. And then we would be sharing mind maps with you. These mind maps are effective ways of remembering and understanding the concepts. You can apply them. If you understand and remember them, you can apply them wherever it's needed, whichever project you're working with. And then worksheets wherein you can practice in the right way. Practice can be done, but if you don't do it in the right way, we will just end up wasting our time. So we have designed worksheets using which you practice, and that gives you a good exposure, good learning, a proper way of dealing with coding, docs for you to refer. Yeah, Excel sheets in which you can map from one language to any language. Fine. A mobile gaming app. What's this mobile gaming app? You have played various games on your mobile, right? Now, our game would give you an approach how to think like a developer. Only if you think like a developer, you will be able to clear stages in that game. So it enables that thinking perspective in you. That's very important. That's quite crucial. And the entire learning journey is fun filled. We are not going to stress you out in this process. We are not going to put loads and loads of burden on you. Nothing doing. It's going to be very simple, a fun way of learning. Yep. And at the end of it, you will be rewarded in a very high way. The rewards which you get towards the end is like a life turning thing that will help you in every aspect of your IT career. Fine. So this can be used for people in BPOs who dream to get an IT job. This could be for people who are about to start learning programming, because before they start learning programming, the way they listen about coding is like it's too tough, not for everyone. It removes that mindset, it eradicates that mindset, gives you a fresh mindset, makes you feel programming is so simple, so easy. Fine, it's gettable, and it becomes easy lifelong for you. Yeah, so that's the significance of these mobile games, Excel sheets, the mind maps. They change the way how you think, how you write code. That's very, very important. So we offer all these for you. Along with that, we have a learning management system. All the 15 hours videos after the session, once you get registered for the program, after the course, you will be given access to this learning management system, so that as and when needed, you can refer back to the videos, refresh the concept when and where needed, switch from one language to any language. Because in your academics, semester 1 you have one language, semester 2 you have another language, second year, third year, you are exposed to so many languages, and when you get a job, you again don't know which language you will work on, isn't it? So our content is lifelong accessible for you, so that at any point of time you need assistance, the material is always ready for you, so you can make use of it anytime. And then we also give you access to various AI tools for coding. How you can see artificial intelligence with a regular developer can create a huge amount of difference in coding. Otherwise, why would anyone learn 15 languages? I'm good at one language, that's good enough. No, that era is gone. The upcoming era, you can't say, I know one language and I'm going to fit in it. No, nothing doing as such. You would be asked to code across multiple languages. AI makes this possible for you. If you make use of artificial intelligence, you will be able to code across multiple languages. Remember, AI will not replace you, but a developer who knows AI will definitely replace you if you don't know AI. So artificial intelligence becomes very, very important for you. That is why this course is machine learning and AI enabled. The approach is based on these two. Machine learning is how you think like a translator, how you understand things like a translator, so that you can master any programming language and you can switch from any language to any language. Artificial intelligence is also included because you will be using various AI tools for your future also, currently also, and how you can leverage artificial intelligence so that you get a strong position in your career. Your career should be set in such a way that you're unshakable. You replacing you would be very difficult. Yeah, it's not easy to replace you. So you would be fitting into the future demands of IT industry. That's the aim of our program. And in 15 hours, this is very much doable, achievable. Fine. So looking forward to have a very fun-filled learning journey with you all. Fine. So let me know if you have any further questions, anything, any queries of yours which I couldn't address in the last 40 minutes or so. Yeah, please let me know if you have any questions. You can write them into the chat window. You can interact with us. You can reach us anytime. Fine. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful time. Take care.